Right, welcome back, guys. In this session, we're going to be discussing market structure and trying to see if we can identify the concepts that we learned in the previous videos when it comes to actual candlesticks. So, without any further waste of time, perhaps let's get into it. So, this is price action on the Nasdaq from around January 2022, and if we're going to make sense of the very immediate price action on this 4-hour chart, we can see that this is the two most recent lows. If we connect them, we can see that we've got price making a lower low over there, and then these being the most recent lower highs that we can see. Okay, so our trend lines, number one, help us to identify that price may be moving lower. If we look at our two most recent points, second, of course, we've got this low over here being annihilated to give us a bearish breakout structure. Three, if we look at how price breaks, we can see that we have a strong impulse, a mini correction on internal structure, a strong impulse, a mini correction on internal structure, strong impulse, small pullback, strong impulse, all right? And then immediately we see the breakout structure, we see price moving back inwards for a pullback. So what are we waiting for to validate this trade again? We know that the moment we see a break of these lows, we're still continuing to move to the downside, okay? Right. So let's play price here and watch what's going to happen. Bang. Okay. So now already I'm supposed to pause that. Right. So if we look over here now, we can already see that we have another what? Bearish breakout structure. Why? Price has broken this low, right? And as long as the trend is valid, we know price is not going to move down forever. We're going to expect to see price pushing back upwards before we see another continuation, right? So we know that what do we have in place? We've got these two lower highs that we have over there. Let me remove that. Delete. Okay. Right, so we have this lower high over here and then another lower high over here, which show us that price has that the market structure is still bearish because these highs have managed to push price lower, okay, and break this low that was over here, right? Excuse me. So now we wait for a pullback, right, which is what we see over here on the 4-hour, and then we wait again. Once we see this pullback, these candles over here pushing price back up, we know there's a probability that we're going to see this price break again to the downside, right? So we're just going to wait for this low to be taken out to validate the trade, right? We've got a candle close below, so we know immediately that this is another bearish what? Break of structure, okay? We may see another pullback again taking place. Yes, we see a pullback, and look at that. We get another bearish break of structure. We're just following the structure at this point. We are just following the structure, right? We're not trying to do anything that's too complicated. So now we've got this lower high, we've got this lower high, and we've got price breaking structure to validate that it still wants to go down. We are obviously in the market for sells, right? Because we are trading. In our strategy, we like to trade the 4-hour. So we're looking for selling opportunities, and this is exactly what we're seeing, that every time price pulls up, we saw here price respected this area and it fell, broke structure, and then we've got another area over here, price came in, respected, and it still fell down, all right, for lower prices. So we wait again to see whether price is going to pull back up again, and then what do we see? Price gives us a very small pullback on the 4-hour, and then immediately it tanks, all right? So what do we have again here? We have another break of structure, making sure this is another lower high. We wait again for structure to give us communication as to what it wants to do. Just look at that, of a 2-candle pullback, and we see price close below again. That's a lower what? A lower high. Again, we see here lower low over there, right? So we're just following the money, right? And then immediately we see that we're just going to mark up the previous high. So our previous high in this case would be here. This is the highest point before we see price tank lower, okay, to break structure. This is the highest pullback area that we have, or the highest low high that we have, right? And over here we see price pulling in, respecting the area, and then going down. So for us to continue with the trend, for us to know this is another lower high, we want to see a break of this low over here, right? So again, let's just wait and watch. And there we go, right? So let me just take this back a candle. So now what do we see? We see price coming down, failing to create a lower low, right? We just witnessed that. And then we see price wick above this high, okay? Price wicks above this high. Now, if we're going to see whether there's a change of character, we're just going to look at these candles where price drops here versus the candles where price takes off to go up, right? And I'm sure you can agree with me. You can see that there's a bit of some indecisiveness when price drops lower, and there's quite a strong impulse when price pushes up, right, and wicks up above. So already we can see that this is a possible change of character. Again, this will not always be the cleanest thing that you'll see, but the market is the market. It's imperfect, right? So how do we know if the market has truly changed its character? Number one, obviously, we want to see price fail to make a lower low, which is to break below this low, right? That's the first thing. Second, we want to see price break above this high again, or break structure to the upside to tell us that the trend is truly now bullish, okay? So again, we just watch. We wait for price. Price comes in, fails to break our low. We see it fail to break our low again. It's in a sort of a range, and then bang. Already we see that this wick has already been broken, right? Over there. We're already in what we can confirm to be a bullish market. Why? Price came in, gave us a lower low, wicked up above to give us what was a possible change of character for a higher high, then came back down again, could not break this previous low, which was the lowest point that it had printed in the market, and then broke this high again. So we can safely assume that this over here, let's just mark this point over here has become our new lower high, our new higher low, right? And this is the lowest point of the market. So already if we look at these 2 points, you can already see that price is giving us the sign that it's heading up, okay? If you look at these 2 points, which is the 2 higher points that we've seen, you can see that price is already moving up. So we've got no reason to keep looking for sales because the market structure is already telling us that we're pushing up. So what are we waiting for? We're waiting for a pullback for us to see if price will give us an opportunity to continue long. All right. So we have some sort of a range over there. Not necessarily the kind of pullback that we would want to see, but nevertheless, some sort of exhaustion that might have given some other people opportunity to enter, but not necessarily for us. All right. So we continue to wait. Let's see what price is going to do there. So now, if we look again at this price over here, this would have been where we would have said the most recent pullback of internal structure is. And let's just go to the 1 hour chart for you to understand what I mean. Right? So obviously, if you just look at the 1 hour chart, just the 1 hour chart alone, over here you see price broke structure. There was a bullish break of structure there. And then again, we saw that over here, price pulled back and broke structure, meaning this became the lowest point before price broke structure, right? And obviously now we see that price on the 4 hour has given us a change of character by breaking this low. Because as long as the price is going to continue up, we want to see this low being respected. We want to see this low being respected. But in this case, price actually falls and closes below, which is what we see on the 4 hour here. Price actually falls and closes below, right? Which may signal that the trend might have changed. So we want to see a lower high, a high that is lower than this one. Let me just use this line. A high that's lower than this point over here to show us that price may have gone back to being bearish, okay? So let's just play price and see what happens, right? Now we're beginning to see a pullback. Right, there we go. Price has gone back into our regions. Now look at that. Just look at that. So price changes character. We see price coming up here, printing this high over here, which might or might not be the lower high. How will we know if it is the lower high? We'll only know when this low is broken to indicate to us that it's another break or structure. Okay, so we're just going to watch what price is going to do. Already, if you've been paying attention, you might have noticed that if you're looking at this price and saying price is dropping, you would have seen a change of character over there, showing that price is now going back up to give to print a lower high or whatever the case may be. But let's keep it simple. So let's see if price is going to break this low over there. Right, let's just watch. Oh, there we go. That was quick. All right, so price gives us another bearish what? Breakout structure. So what do we now have over there? What do we now have? We now have a lower high. We now have the high over here and the lower high. We now have this low being broken, and then we have a lower low, and obviously now we're going to see a pullback at some point for price to come back, print another lower low, and so on and so forth. I hope you're getting how we are following where the market is going. Right, so we wait, right? Okay, so price is broken here. We're beginning to see some candles that seem to be pulling back up. We're just going to wait for market structure to validate whether it wants to tank. Let's continue playing. So obviously now we're watching this area, and voila, we have a break. We have a break over there. It's that simple, guys. Like, it's that simple. This is what we're looking for. This is how you follow where the market is going. It's how you sort of know what to do when the market is moving. So as you can see over here, if I was another guy, when I'm seeing price pulling back this area over there, I'm not going, it's time to buy, it's time to buy. No. I'm waiting for an opportunity to take a short so that price can pull back down with me. All right? That's all I'm waiting for. Whilst another person may be saying, oh, it's time to buy, you know, price has been rejecting here for a number of times, so we might see price coming back. We want to take a buy back to the upside. I can see what structure is doing. Structure is saying we're printing lower, what? Lower highs. We now have 3 lower highs over here, 2 lower lows that we can see over here. And already as price comes in here, we obviously took the opportunity and sold, right? Let's just go to, say, a 30-minute time frame and watch what has happened over there. So if you look at this, just look at that. Now we're going to talk about what just happened in terms of our change of character. So price comes in here, gives us this lower low, this lower, yes, it's a higher low, and then we've got a higher high, we've got a higher high here, pulls back to give us some sort of a lower low over here before price breaks structure to the upside. Okay, so there we go. That's a bullish break of structure, right? And then we are banking on the fact that this low might hold, but we don't see that this low is broken and annihilated so impulsively. So what do we see? It's a bearish change of character. And when this low is broken, we also see this other low being broken over there. So we now have 2 lows that are broken so impulsively, showing that price has come into a zone that may have a lot of force, that may have a lot of supply. If we look left, we can see that. Let's just go to the 4-hour chart. We can see that we've got here an area of supply where price has entered. Do you see that? So can we see how our conditions are now being met? Let's just go back to the 30-minute, to our lower time frames. Can you see what just happened? Price is printing higher highs and higher lows, higher highs and higher lows, moving up. And then it gets to a point where when it gets into this area of supply, we see a forceful sell-off, right? Forcing price to change character, right? So we've got the impulsive move. We've got a higher time frame zone of supply where we can expect sellers to come in forcefully, right? And we see the change of character coming in like this. What do we expect? We expect that there's a high probability that price is going to turn back, which is exactly what happens. Price comes back, fails to give us a higher high. Do you see that? Prints a lower high over here. And if you're the kind of trader who can find an entry somewhere over there, right, it means you're in the money. Price just tanks. It tanks from there. price just tanks, and we're done. That's all we're looking for. And what are we waiting for? We want to see price come back to our 4-hour TP, and we've got price coming back to our 4-hour TP there. Okay? I hope that's clear enough for everyone to understand. So that's how we trade and wait for these things to happen on a chart. It's not magic. It's not like we are too smart or anything. Sometimes you won't have a change of character printing, all right? And that's perfectly fine. That's the market. Sometimes it won't give you signs that it's going to go. It's just going to break structure once, sell off, not come back and print that higher high that you're looking for, or I mean that lower high that you're looking for in a bearish market. But this is the market, so you just need to be happy with that. You're going to miss trades because they're not going to meet your criteria. Some of the changes of character are not going to meet your conditions, and they're going to hold. But it is what it is. All right. So keep following again what the market is doing. Right. So we have some sort of a short pullback over there, and we have price breaking structure over there, and so on and so forth. So I'm sure now you get it. This is sort of what we're looking for. Again, you see that price pulls back, got price coming in over there. We've got an area of supply there, and price holds. So let's just go back to our 1-hour chart. Let's see if we can see anything. 15-minute chart, right? So obviously, when price was pulling back up, we're expecting price to remain bullish as long as this zone was not to hold. So we've got a bullish break of structure, and these are the lows where we see price come in, give us a bearish change of character, right? It just pulls down, and then we see price sort of correctively come back in. Actually, let me use the more recent price. We see a sort of corrective nature of price here. I think you see that. We see a slowdown in buying momentum over there. When price hits this area of supply, we see it just move and tank. So I hope now you can see what we're trying to illustrate with the line charts. This is what we're trying to illustrate with the line charts. This is how the market sort of moves. The market repeats the same thing over and over. And this is what we're trying to do. So now we've covered a scenario where we trade with the market. We've covered a scenario where we've seen what it is to trade in the direction of the trend, all right? What it is to trade in the direction of the trend. And I think we just want to look for maybe one more scenario where we trade against the trend. Okay, let me just clear out the chart like this. Right, so in this case, we know that price is dropping down. We expect sooner or later we might have price pulling back into some sort of area of value over here before we see price tanking again, right? So we obviously want to see price show us by means of change of character that perhaps it wants to pull back for the retest, and then we join the trend if price gets to our point, and then we tank with it. So let's just watch price and go to a lower time frame, right? And let's play price from there. Look at that. Look at that. Do you see it? Let's just go to a clearer time frame, right? Where do we have the lower low? Where do we have the lower low? The lowest low is obviously over there, right? So if you look on the 15-minute chart, you see that price was coming back down, gives us a pullback and breaks structure. But then we see this. Do you see it? Do you see it? So again, we've got price coming back, gives us a pullback, drops down, gives us what looks now like a higher what? A higher high. Now there's a possibility that we may see structure come back, do this, and then continue back to the upside. So what we want to do, number one, we want to anticipate the move. Number two, we need to check if this is taking place in a zone of or in an area of value according to our trend. Okay, so obviously we can see that over here in this sort of area over there. We're at an area of value. Why? This is a major turning point for price, where we see again that price comes back down. This gives us our pattern, breaks the high, comes back, gives us a low, and then price pushes up, which means this is an area of demand. This is an area where we see that buyers step into the market with a lot of force, right? And if we're to just look at such an area as this and post it back to the right, you can see that this is sort of the area where we're starting to see demand sort of pile up. Okay, this is the area where we might start to see demand coming into the market. So we go back again to the 15-minute chart. We agree this is a bearish BOS, and then this is a possible bullish change of character, right? Then we're just going to wait for the market to give us a sign that it's going to go up. All right, now we wait. What's going to happen? Price is going to come in and gives us a low, and then from there, my friends, it fails to break. Do you see that? It fails to break this low, giving us what looks like a double bottom or whatever it is. But in this instance, if we've chosen the right zone of entry over there, price pushes up. Price just pushes up, and from there we see candle by candle, I'm guessing. There we go. So we've got a change of character, and price pushes up. Now it breaks structure over there. We have a bullish break of structure. We might be seeing a higher low or whatever the case may be, but because we're trading against the trend, we're obviously not looking to be holding this trade for too long, because we don't know when this thing is going to stop, right? So let's go back to the 1 hour. Wow, look at that. Okay, so we've traded against the trend. We've managed to catch a very, very strong buy, and then the market just wrenches up completely from there. We're in the money. We probably haven't held all the way back up, but we've definitely made some money. All right, now let's wait and see what's going to happen here. This is the highest point that we have before we see the break of structure. So if we see this point breaking, then there's a possibility that the market has turned bullish, right? But we are still having a bias for sell side, what you call it? Okay, there we go. So obviously now we can see that price has come in, and it's shown us that it's got the intention to continue to move up. Okay, this is what we see next. So obviously we're just going to anticipate that price may or may not come back, give us a low high, and continue to the upside. So I'm not going to bore you by continuing to do this over and over again, but I'm sure by now you get the concept. So we're just going to cover drawing areas of value in the next video, where we're going to talk about how you as a trader can then know the zones where to anticipate price to turn. Because now, if you've got this understanding of market structure, and you see market structure the way I've shown you to look at, both from a candlestick chart and from a line chart, then you know what to expect the market to do. When you see it happen, then you just take an entry. Sometimes it won't happen, but it is the name of the game with trading. We trade probabilities, all right? We don't know what's actually happening with the underlying asset. We don't know why price rejected over here and shot up, but we knew that it was probable because of the patterns that we know in the market to repeat themselves, all right? So thank you for watching this video. I hope you managed to learn how we use market structure, break of structure, change of character, low highs, low lows, and internal structure to derive the next thing that the market is going to do. See you in the next video.